Hello and welcome to Stop a Vision. Today is episode 4. We'll be going over the reason why Brian Flores decided to sue the NFL. Before we dig deep into it, you need to know what the Rooney Rule is. So, on the top left, you see Mr. Rooney over there, Dan Rooney, former owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He unfortunately passed away, passed down the family lineage. So, there you go. That's who you know who started the rule. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have been known to help African American men find ways into upper management and coaching in the National Football League. So they decided, look, you need to interview X amount of candidates that are African American or people minority before you move forward. I think it was a good step in the right direction. Unfortunately, things like that take time and there's loopholes. And unfortunately, the owners, as you see on this graph, 100% Caucasian, 100% white, they decided to keep it in house, and I don't think they're personally using the Rooney Rule to its best ability. So you notice that in corporate America as well. You notice that in institutions, people are trying. It doesn't seem to be working. If you look at graphs, look at CEOs, you can kind of see why that's not working. So let's move on to the next topic on why Brian Flores actually decided to move forward into the NFL based off of infraction of the Rooney Rule. So the allegations, plenty. So on the left, Brian Flores. So Brian Flores is in the middle. As you know from the thumbnail. On the left, you see Stephen Ross, owner of the Miami Dolphins. So this is who is getting the heap of the allegations, as well as the NFL. Just this is crazy. It's literally going to be shocking what happens. It's going to change the format of coaching, and well, we hope so at least. It might just get brushed under like everything else. Might be like a Kaepernick situation, might be a blackball situation where you never hear about it again. But I think this one's a little bit different. There's a lot of stay tuned, stay tuned. So zero African American owners, as you can see in the graph. At least 70% of the players are African American. The people providing revenue, providing the views, providing the hits on the field that you see why we watch football every Sunday. There was a tank incentive in 2019 where Stephen Ross offered 100K per loss for Brian Flores. So you're going to tell an absolute competitor to take L's and get money for it? That didn't sit right with Flores. That's something that's in the allegation. Tom Brady and the yacht fiasco. So in 2019, when Tom Brady, the goat, was going to be a free agent, he had options where it was Tampa, Miami, Oakland. Everybody wanted him. So before this actually even happened, Stephen Ross had Tom Brady and Brian Flores on a yacht, and this was super illegal. Brian Flores immediately left, did not feel right. See, I think Brian Flores got a good moral compass. That's what I'm saying. Like when you do good, good things happen, and he was just being thrown a lot of bad things in his direction. So this was the icing on the cake, though. The icing on the cake. This is what really did it. So I think this was intentional, by the way. Bill did this on purpose to give an L to the Giants because he couldn't beat them in real life. That's all I'm saying. So here's text messages, proof of Bill Belichick going back and forth with Brian Flores, congratulating him actually prematurely on the hire for the New York Giants role. And it was actually Brian Dable who he meant to text, former Bills offensive coordinator. So that right there, super sketchy. How did Bill know? Is there an elite inner circle that we don't know about? It's just so sketchy all around. I can't even believe this is even happening nowadays in 2022. And on the last slide, well, I'll give you my take on what I think Brian Flores, if he's right or wrong, and what I think will end up happening. So here's a quote by Brian Flores. God has gifted me with a special talent to coach the game of football, but the need for change is bigger than my personal goals. In making the decision to file the class action complaint, I understand that I may be risking coaching the game I love. My sincere hope is that by standing up against systematic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come. Boom. He's a hero. I think there's a lot of people like this, all right, and they don't get publicity. They're not on the news. You can call them a patriot. You can call them a rebel, contrarian. I don't know, but he is doing what he thinks is right, and I'm always going to side with that. He might get blackballed. He even said he might even lose his job. He might not even go provide money for his family for a little bit until he finds a new job. It's a huge risk, but it's a risk in the right direction. And unfortunately, that's going to take situations like this for a change to happen. Hopefully, we'll see down the road what happens. Maybe there'll be less of this. It just depends. This is huge. This is crucial. If nothing happens from this and it gets brushed over, back to how we were. But if there are ramifications, there's punishments, which I think is totally due by Miami, by the NFL. I didn't even bring up the Denver Broncos and the New York Giants. Like the Denver Broncos had an interview with this man and they were drunk. They didn't care. There's neglect in the Rooney Rule and needs to get fixed. Stay tuned. I'll update you guys in a couple weeks when we find out. This might be in a couple months. This might take a while, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.